actually having a very hard time finding internships. In fact, Teenr helped me. Not only did they help me find internships, they helped me find very unique internships. So I wasn't doing what most of my friends were doing. I actually got the opportunity to do projects that people probably do in college. Explore a vast variety of projects. So I did one which was to help empower young children. So I did an Action for Happy Kids program. I also did cervical cancer research to create low-cost testing kits for, again, like underprivileged women. I also pursued creating low-cost prosthetics for underprivileged people, especially they were focusing on prosthetic arms. For Happy Kids program, I think, was such an important catalyst because I got to network with like so many different people. I think there were people from, South America, Africa, USA, and just all over the world. That was very important for me because I got to understand the different ways of thinking where like everyone's like nuanced backgrounds make them have a very individual way of thinking that actually build a lot of empathy. I want to be an entrepreneur. The first thing that Teenr really helped me with is my leadership skills. That is very important for me because I really do want to like start my own business, and I just like emotional intelligence is very important, empathy. So Teenr really helped me with that. Another thing I was able to on in Teenr was my organizational skills, because I was a part of so many projects that I couldn't even I never thought that I would ever be a part of. I strongly believe that it is very important to do projects outside of school and have a mentor to explore other facets of your personality. In school, we usually focus on more academics. For example, I will touch upon a point I spoke about earlier. In school, I remember in 9th or 10th grade, they were asking us to do comprehensions. While they seem easy, without having the right reading and writing skills, to be able to understand what you're reading and then answering questions is very hard. So therefore, I was not scoring the best I could possibly score. When you have to read, as a part of all my projects, as a part of Armor Up, the prosthetic project, I had to read a lot of articles, a lot of essays, and I also had to write. For my Instagram posts and even for my website, I had to make sure I was writing very powerfully and eloquently. So even there, I was, I was forced to look at my word choice, my grammar, my punctuation, all of that stuff. So just these small nitty-gritties as a part of for each of my projects, that was very important and helped building my English skills. Even in biology, we learn very book level information, but we actually, cervical cancer, I never thought I would ever be able to get into a project like that at such a young age, because you hear people who are 30 years old trying to find cancer treatments and stuff, but I was 17 and I was able to play my part in finding a low cost testing kit. So I think it's very important to be in projects outside school. I applied to the US and I got into UCSD, which is where I'm planning on pursuing my studies. I got into Case Western. So I got into Case Western with a $25,000 per year scholarship. I also got into Northeastern. I got into University of Wisconsin. I also got into University of Maryland. So I ended up choosing UCSD because it's top 4th in the world for my course. So obviously it was very important that I go to a university with a good course and amazing research opportunity. So Teenr helped me in many ways. Actually, it all started, in the ninth grade. I would say one of the most important things is Teenr actually helped me unearth certain characteristics about myself that I was really able to focus on in my essays, and also just like my interest in biology. I remember, in the ninth grade, I started this process early on in the ninth grade, and I remember doing small workshops with Aarti auntie, and she would give me a lot of worksheets to fill up, which would, I had to consider my future, where I see myself in a few years, and consider like my strengths, my weaknesses, my interests. So there were a lot of questions that I had to answer that I would have never thought of if it weren't for TNR. And due to those questions, it helped me understand a lot about myself, because I never thought I would respond to a question like that or even choose something as an option. So I got to learn a lot about myself, which was extremely important for me to focus on in my college essays, because I had to show college is how I stand out as a person. So without being able to understand these qualities about myself, I couldn't have written my essays. Um, and also, it was through TNR that I actually remember wanting to pursue biology to a higher level, because I remember when I entered TNR, I'm pretty sure I wanted to do law. But it was through TNR that I realized, through the internship opportunities, that I realized that I was very interested in helping underprivileged people with affordable healthcare, which was obviously through these affordable cervical cancer kits and the prosthetics. So that way, Tina was very important for me. And also, Aarti auntie was extremely, extremely helpful throughout that stressful 1 year where I had to write all my essays. And she really kept me grounded, because sometimes I would lose focus, and I would get very flustered with the amount of essays I had to write. And so Aarti auntie really helped me organize myself. My mentor throughout this journey especially was Aarti auntie, and I think one thing that I really loved about the fact that she was my mentor was that she was extremely empathetic and friendly. Sometimes I would tell her that right now I'm really busy. I have a lot of schoolwork, or I have to prep for the SATs. And she was always very empathetic, and she always understood, and she always, she wouldn't stress me out too much, or like make me overburden myself, which is something I actually heard a lot of my friends go through, but I did not have to go through that. In fact, the process was made much easier because I had Aarti auntie. And obviously, because I started this process really early on, Aarti auntie really got to know a lot about me, and that really helped me later when I was actually writing my essays, because sometimes I ran out of ideas, and then Aarti auntie would be like, "Oh, but don't you like this? You can write about this." So, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that makes so much sense. I can do that. That's literally me." So that way it was extremely helpful.